Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. Welcome to episode 335, interview with Client Dorrie. Well, hello. Welcome back to the podcast, and I am so excited for you all to listen to this interview that I did with my client Dorrie and her journey to really find alcohol freedom. And Dorrie and I have been working together for a while, and she has just really kind of blown my mind with the different iterations that she's tried around alcohol, taking breaks, planning, everything in between, and doing the deeper work that was required for her to fix the automatic behavior that she was using alcohol to numb out and escape from. So I'm so proud of you, Dorrie. Thank you so much for coming on here and sharing your story. I hope you enjoyed. Dorrie is funny, lively, and has an interesting story to share around what this looked like for her. So please do not miss this amazing episode. Enjoy. Welcome to the podcast, Dorrie.
Hi, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to have you too. It's so good to see you.
Thanks. I'm a little nervous. I don't know why.
That's normal. Well, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, where you live, who is Dorrie?
Okay. My name's Dorrie. I'm actually from right outside of Boston, as you can tell by my lovely accent. I'm 55 and I am a mother of two. I have a 20-year-old son, Tyler, and a 23-year-old daughter, Madison, and my husband, Jerry. And I work at a school full-time. I do that. I'm a para, and then I bartend part-time. So that's what I do. That's me.
Lady.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm busy. I'm very busy.
Yeah.
Not as busy as I was when the kids were younger, but still busy.
Well, listeners, Dorrie and I have been working together for a while now. She came into my 6-month Stop Over Drinking and Start Living program a couple years ago, and we immediately kicked it off because she is just one of the people that started doing the work. And I just remember working with her very closely on some, family stuff that was going on and some difficult feelings that were hard for you to be with, and you're using wine to manage some of those things. So why don't you just tell them a little bit about where you were with alcohol, what was going on with you at that time?
At that time, it was when I've always been like everybody that's joining a program, kind of always like a social drinker. And then the mommy wine culture hit me hard. And then, but all my girlfriends were doing it. Everyone was doing it and whatever. And then COVID happened. And during COVID, we had, our son Tyler was having some severe mental health issues. Like you said, I got a lot of coaching on that, but, it was really, really, really tough because I kept drinking from a place of failure. I felt like I was a failure as a mom because of his mental health issues and the things that he was doing to us in our home. And it got to the point where we had to have him removed from our house. And that was, as a mom, like probably one of the most heart-wrenching things you'll ever have to go through. But he wasn't safe. He wasn't safe to be around. And it was a choice we had to make. And so I was drinking almost every single day. And then again, because of COVID too, like we were in lockdown. Mm-hmm. And then we had to take him 3 times to the hospital for, mental health issues. And that was probably the ugliest thing a parent has to watch too, to see your child sitting in a waiting room for 5 days, waiting for a bed that never happened. And they're like, oh, you can just take him home now. So it was tougher than anyone can imagine. And then coincidentally, at the time, my husband was sick and we didn't know what was wrong with him. And his dad died very young of esophageal cancer. He died at 48. So he
Mhm.
lost a massive amount of weight in a very short amount of time. And we couldn't get into a hospital. Like we couldn't get in to see. And I was like, oh my God, my husband's dying of cancer. And people were texting and calling me like, because they'd see us out walking. And they're like, saw you guys out walking. Is everything okay with Jerry? And I'm like, we don't know. Come to
Mhm.
find out, he had a thyroid issue. He ended up with, which is weird because it's mostly in women, but he ended up having Graves' disease. All fine and good now.
Mhm.
But I remember when I decided, because it was alcohol was just the forefront of everything for me, and it was really like I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I here? How did this happen?
Mhm.
And I happened to be scrolling one night. Like I was always alone at night because my husband would go to bed so early because he was exhausted.
Mhm.
And I was alone a lot. My daughter was at college and it's that self isolation. And it was, really sad. I was drinking and eating and doing all the scrolling and doing all that binge watching. And I found you and I'm like, I'm gonna give this girl a chance. Like and then I started listening to a podcast and I loved it. And I had mentioned, I listened to two other gals and they just didn't resonate with me at all. One was very like religious, and that just is not me. And then the other one literally wanted you to get rid of every ounce of alcohol in your house, including like the vanilla extract. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's not going to work either.
Mhm.
Trying to find like something, and you just popped up. It was almost like serendipity, like it was just meant to happen.
Mhm.
And you had your little badass little leather jacket on. Remember that? I was like, this girl, I loved her. I was like, there was just something about you that I was just very drawn to you. It was amazing. And then the hard part came with, because I did have to tell my husband, and that was like, it was embarrassing. Like I was embarrassed that I had to, because I'm like, I can't just dip into the savings. He's going to notice that much money missing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wouldn't want him to think I was having an affair. And I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it was a conversation that needed to be had though, right?
It 100% needed to be had. And I'm really, really obviously, I don't even have words to describe how grateful I am for you and your program and coach staff and even all the other women. Because the thing I loved about your program and being in there is like, even if I couldn't get on for coaching, I would listen after, and every woman had the same story, but just in different sequences or different timelines or whatever. But it's all the same. At
Right.
the end, we shared the same story,
Right. Yeah, using
and
alcohol to escape in some way, shape, or form, or to make things more fun or more,
right.
or whatever. Yeah.
Right. And it was before COVID and before the stuff with Tyler, I never used alcohol to escape. I used it as the social fun,
Mhm.
never used it to like deal with my anxiety or depression or anything like that. And then again, not even knowing until brought it to my awareness that like it was exasperating my anxiety and depression and
Yeah.
my sleep and all, like I had no clue. Like
Right.
it is a little shocking though that we
It
don't
kind of
know this as a society.
Well, I also think when you're in it, like you were, it just creeps in, right? So like you said, before COVID and all that, you weren't using it as a coping mechanism, right? You were
Nope.
using it to drown out the shame that you felt around your kid and the worry that you had with your husband and being on lockdown, right?
Yep.
So it when you start doing that, it kind of creeps in, and then when you like, okay, like this isn't good, like you're kind of recognizing that this probably isn't good for you, and then you're learning some things. You're like, oh yeah, like we don't know it going into it. You know what I mean?
No.
Hard to see it sometimes when you're in it because like I said, it creeps in, and then it just kind of becomes your life until somebody points it out to you. You're like, oh shit, yeah,
Yeah. Like my husband was literally like, he goes, are you Zooming with people just to drink? I go, yeah, because like that's what we all were doing.
right,
Like,
right,
you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I had every Monday, every night I pretty much had a Zoom thing with my girlfriends from this town, my girlfriends from
oh,
college, my
yeah.
girlfriends from the neighborhood, like my school friends, like
Yeah. And you were just like, yep, this is what we're doing right now, not
what
thinking
we're
that
doing.
it was an issue. But then somebody from the outside is like, whoa, what's
Yeah.
going on? Yeah.
Yeah. He's like,
Yeah.
hmm.
Yeah. Well, you said something earlier that I thought we could talk about. You said it was really hard to admit you needed help.
It was that was really, really hard because like I knew deep down, and again, this is no judgment, no shame to anybody. I knew I wasn't an alcoholic, but I
Mhm.
knew I had an issue with alcohol.
Yeah.
And I think that's another huge thing to recognize and to have somebody like you that can help women like me
Mhm.
because it doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Mhm.
And I think that's why you're so successful because admitting that whether you are an alcoholic or not doesn't matter where you lie. You could have one drink a day and think that you have an unhealthy relationship with
Yeah.
alcohol. It doesn't matter. But just knowing that, like, I had the support from my husband, and I remember being so embarrassed. And
Mm.
he was so like, he literally was like, "Oh my God, like, why didn't you tell me this?" Like, he really had no clue. Like,
Right.
because he was like I said, he's up in bed because he was exhausted, and I'm down here just drinking away and doing my own thing. And so I don't think he realized he knew I was drinking, but I don't think he realized how much either, too. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but
There,
that
there a
hard.
tipping point for you? Had you tried doing some things on your own first and
Oh,
realizing
I
you
had
were
all the rules. Oh my Lord, the rules I had around drinking. It was like, I'm not gonna drink before 5. I'm not gonna drink hard liquor. I'm not gonna drink the red wine. Like I had every rule. I'd be like, I'm going to the beach. I'm only bringing 2 because I'm driving. Like every name a rule, and I had it around alcohol. So my mind was constantly thinking about alcohol.
Mhm.
Constantly. It
And
was
did you break those rules a lot?
before I joined your, yeah, all the time because I
Okay.
always was like,
Yeah. So
I
I
deserve
guess
it.
I want to understand more, and this will help them kind of dissect where am I in this,
Hmm.
spectrum. When you were doing those things and having all these rules and maybe breaking them before you joined my coaching program, what made you decide that you needed more help? You know what I mean? Like what
Be-
made you realize that?
because I was constantly thinking about alcohol.
Okay.
Like it was all the time. And then the shame cycle the next day,
Mhm.
I would wake up and berate myself, just belittle myself, like the words I would internally say to myself were just so harsh and cruel. And you know what I mean? And I was like, well, what am I doing? Like I was always asking myself, what am I doing?
Mhm.
What am I doing?
Mhm.
Why? And I didn't know how to answer that. I really didn't until I met you. Honestly, I didn't. It
Yeah.
was just a vicious cycle. It was like a hamster wheel. I just want to get off of this ride. I really do.
And you just recognize like I need help getting off.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yep, I
so
definitely
smart. Smart people make those decisions, Dory. And so, how long was it into COVID? Only a couple years, right? It was like kind of in
it,
the middle.
it was so I joined your program in February 2021. So it
Okay,
was almost a
a
full
year.
year
Yeah.
of
Wow.
of that. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
So
And
you kind of got ahead of it before, it got really bad.
yeah,
It's
and
smart.
again, the fact that you even just popped up on my thing like that, it was crazy. Like it's probably because I Googled something else. Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, I tried a
Mhm.
couple other gals, but um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm so glad that you recognize that and you said yes to yourself.
I
You know,
did. And
it's hard. It is hard to admit that you need help, right? Because
yeah,
we feel like a failure already because of how many broken promises we've had to ourselves around the drinking, right?
mhm,
And then to admit, like, I can't do this, like smart, capable women, you're managing so much in your life, you've, achieved a lot. And then like this is the thing that I just can't rein in, right? So there's
right.
so much shame around it. But you did it anyway. You
Yeah. And it's funny because like some of my friends were like, I told a few, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be on a podcast. And they're like, which one? I'm like, I'm not ready to tell you that yet. You know
know?
what I mean? And it's like
Yes.
I want to see how it goes. And like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Even my son, like I texted him, I'm like, can you just please be quiet when you come in because I'm on a podcast day. And he goes, which one? I'm like, well, I
Your
won't be
mom's
sharing that with you.
famous.
They're like, I can't believe you. But yeah, so I do
How
and
much were you drinking? You were drinking every night? Like how much were you drinking?
every night. I honestly was drinking on average from 5 to 8 drinks a night,
Okay.
every night.
Yeah.
Like, and then I was like, okay, now I'm not going to drink Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And so I stopped that. And then it was, like I said, and sometimes like, and I wasn't working at my part-time job because I would never drink, I don't drink there. You know what I mean? So I was almost like, because that was kind of shut down because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, God, I really need to get back to work. You know what I mean? Like both my jobs, I wasn't working.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of downtime too. That was hard.
Yeah, a lot
Sitting
of
around
changes
doing nothing.
happened. COVID was terrible for so many people.
Yeah,
It really sucked.
it
Sucked
really
for
did.
kids. It
The
sucked for us.
kiddos and,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
never going back. Like,
Right.
sorry, you shut it down. I'm going out. I don't care.
Right.
Like, sorry, can't do that again.
Yeah. So what happened after you joined? You joined the 6-month program, and then what did you start learning?
So again, my biggest takeaways definitely were when you go a little deeper in with that 6-month program with the worksheets, which are amazing. And the first one you right out of the gate you do is the feelings,
Mm-hmm.
and that was, and again, not to because this isn't a therapy session, but like I wasn't allowed to talk about my feelings as a kid, and I,
Yeah.
I think a lot of women my age like aren't. You know what I mean? We had to
Yeah.
shove that shit down.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't talk about it. So that was really hard for me. And I felt like at first I was like not 100% dialed in because I felt like I was doing the same thing over and over. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I wasn't letting myself dive into it as much. Then I forget the second month. Was it self-love?
The second
Radical.
month is around your thinking, so learning how to manage your mind and analyzing your thoughts and changing your thoughts. And then the third month is around self-love.
So I think that month I ended up redoing the feelings while I was doing
Mhm.
that. And
Mhm.
then it was funny, like then I got it. It was like it took a
Yeah.
little bit of, you know what I mean? Because a lot of my feelings were just like failure, frustration. But then I wasn't really asking the questions like the why and you
Mhm.
know what I mean? And I definitely got a lot of coaching at when I was in your 6-month program.
What feelings did you, so at the beginning you had the family situation going on, it was COVID, your son, right? Like all of that went down while you were in the program. So do you remember what you had to learn about those difficult feelings?
One of the things, and you coached me on this, was that I have no control over Tyler's actions.
Yeah.
And my feelings were so driven by that. Like, I mean, when I was like this big, anxious, angry ball of a person. And my personality doesn't match that. I'm like a very bubbly, fun, like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like drinking or not drinking. I'm the life of the party. I'm the girl that first one there, last one to leave. And my son made me like, I thought he was making me feel like this way. And
Mm-hmm.
it was very hard for me to stop that and be like, no, like he does not control how I feel. I'm going to live my life and I'm going to be a happy person. I'm not going to be miserable. This is kind of on him now. You know what I mean? Like he's choosing this path. And I think
Yeah.
that's the best thing
Yeah,
that,
that took some work though, right? Like you
yep,
have to learn how to be with your own feelings
yep,
and take responsibility for them, process them, right? And
yep,
then eventually we get to, okay, they're their own person. I need to disconnect from that, right? Like I'm still in charge of my own life, my own happiness, my own goals and dreams, and
yep,
he's got his own life and pathway, right?
yep. And
Yeah.
I would not have, if I didn't get coaching on that, I wouldn't have. If you just handed out the worksheets and we did them, and then I went through the motions and I didn't hop on coaching calls, I definitely would not. I don't think that I would have been able to go to the next hurdle.
Yeah.
And that's how I looked at your program. Cause I think at first when I joined, I wanted everything like instantaneous. I
Mhm.
wanted like instant gratification. And that took a little bit of mindset change to be like, all right, we're gonna do this one step at a time, one hurdle at a time. And even like I was listening to one of your podcasts the other day, and you had the one win thing.
Mhm.
And I started my month of June, and I have this little section in my journal to it's like a free space like type of thing. And I'm now every day I'm going to write my one win. You know
Aw.
what I mean? Because it's like, and I know you had it done a little differently, but
Yeah.
I'm at a spot now where I can do that. Like, you know what I mean? And I'm so glad I can just be like, my one win today. Like last night was like, I didn't drink.
Yeah.
I did a puzzle instead of
Mhm.
my son, you know, caused
Had an
me some
incident.
stress. And I'm like, I let it go. I was like,
Yeah.
I'll be in the other room doing a puzzle if anybody needs me.
Right. Right.
You know?
Huge
So,
win.
and
Yeah.
before I would have went at it with them. I would have, you know what I mean? I would have went round and round and I would have
Yeah.
let him beat me down, tear me up and make me feel like a piece of shit. And I'm like, nope, like you need me, you know where I'll be,
Yeah.
you know? And then I did a nice little sleep meditation before bed, just to calm myself a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I have, remember our
Tools.
toolbox, the toolbox.
Yes. The little toolbox, you use your tools.
I
Yeah.
loved our toolbox. That was like the best thing that you and Steph did for me. Like that was awesome. And I was
Aw.
like, I'm like feet up the wall queen.
Oh my God, I love feet up the wall.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll be back in 10.
Nobody realizes how powerful that is. And you
It's
just need to
so true.
seriously try it. It
Yeah.
helps so much.
It's amazing.
First of all, you
Ladies,
can't
try
turn
it.
your hair upside down. So
I love the picture of you. And was it your mother-in-law at
yes,
Thanksgiving?
yes.
I love that.
Right. We were cooking Thanksgiving. I'm like, okay, feet up the wall time. It was so refreshing.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
little, yeah, rejuvenating.
Yeah. So, learning how to pause when you're having those difficult feelings, when things are intense at home and all these different things going on, instead of reacting and getting into it, right?
Huge.
Super valuable, right?
Yeah.
So, you had to apply that and learn and
Yeah.
pause. And that
And I
helps.
wasn't always good at it. I
Yeah,
wasn't.
yeah.
But I'm actually, I think now every 10 times it might even be not, it's not even one, it's maybe half a one. Like, you
Mhm,
know what I mean? That's a fraction of
mhm.
what I used to be like, which is,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
It's
I
so much
feel
fun,
amazing.
right?
I
And just
do.
like being able to pause and not react in intense situations actually saves a lot of problems, right? Because like
Yeah.
when emotions are high, intelligence is low
Hmm.
on
And I
all
think,
parties.
yeah. And I think when Tyler was going through his stuff, I really think that I definitely could have been a better role model in the moment because I would get so fired up
Mhm,
and like go at it with him. And I'm
mhm.
like, why? Like
Yeah,
now I'm like, okay. I'm like, yell all you want, but I'm gonna be in the other room. So you yell
right,
at
right.
nobody.
Yeah.
But
So tell them about how you're drinking. Like, what was the journey of the drinking after you joined? How did it reduce? What did it look like?
mine was, it was pretty night and day because like I would go from like say I would be like 8 drinks and then I got it down to 5. It was like a slow process. Like
Mhm.
it wasn't again overnight, which I wish it was, but it wasn't. And I'm actually kind of grateful that it wasn't because I feel like I wouldn't be where I am now if I had done it so quickly.
Yeah.
So, you know, do that. And then I just gradually stepped down. And I think and I always took like little breaks. Like I did like, and you always had your little challenges. And I really did try to do those. I couldn't do all of them. I mean, I could have, I just chose not to.
Mhm.
Um, but I think the biggest or the best thing that happened for me was doing the 6 months.
Mhm.
I just completed that and I ended up doing 7 months, but I did it. I have to backtrack too because I had so many firsts with you. Like remember I went to my first concert not drinking.
Yes,
I
I
was like,
do. The
it
yacht,
was like,
right?
yeah. I go, the only other concert I went to sober was Prince because I was pregnant. And I was like, every other concert I went to, I drank every concert. And I'm like, what is wrong? Like, what is wrong with me? And now I go to concerts all the time and I don't drink. You know what I mean? It's like, and like I just went to Kenny Chesney and I only had 2 drinks before the show and and I didn't have a drop. I didn't drink at all inside. I was at the Sphere. I'm like, this is great. I love it, but
Mhm.
all day, that's all I had. Like that was for
Yeah.
me amazing. Had the best time. But I think that doing that 6 months because I mastered the 1 month. Like
Mhm.
1 month was nothing for me. At first, it was like you do 1 month and you're like, oh my god, am I going to get through this? Like dry January, sober
Mhm.
October, dry July, all of whatever. I'm like, am I going to get through this? And now I'm like, oh my god, I did like ended up doing like 5 of them, I think. And I was like, oh, this is nothing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give myself a challenge. And I might have even been Amy maybe that said she did. It was one. It was somebody in the program that did the 6 months, and I was like, I'm jumping on that. I'm going to do that, and I
Mhm.
did it September, and I went. I did Thanksgiving, Chris. I've never not drank during those holidays unless I was pregnant. You know what I mean? It was like
Yeah.
always drink, and I went to my work Christmas party. People were like, "What are you drinking?" I'm like, "I'm not," and they're like, you're not? And I'm like, no, because I was just having the best time. I was on the dance floor, I was like socializing, mingling. We had before, like, I would have been at my Christmas party at the bar the whole time,
Mm.
like getting my drink on and not social. I think I talked to every single person at my Christmas party
Wow. So
because,
exhausting.
but like, you know what I mean? But like that
Yeah.
before I'm the girl, I'm like, I'm just gonna be
You're
at the bar,
super
get my
social. Yeah. So
yeah.
you got to really like let yourself be who you are because
Yeah. And I like that
without,
version of
yeah,
me.
I
I
love,
like that version a lot, you know? Like,
yeah,
I don't want to be stuck in a corner waiting at the bar for a drink all night. And then, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah.
That's not who I used to be. So it was like, that was fun. And the 6 months, just like I said, turned into 7. And then I, I might drink 2 times a month now
Hmm.
since that was in April. So April, May, June. Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, I write down still write down my drink plan 4 times.
Hmm.
And then I have it on my phone. Don't forget to make your
Tell,
drink
tell
plan.
me more about the 4 times.
So I write it. I have well, nobody else can see it, but I have this little book, and at the top I write 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. And
Hmm.
then if I decide to have a drink, I'll put 1, whatever. And
Hmm.
then I have a habit tracker.
Hmm.
So it's so I can keep track of how much alcohol I'm having.
Hmm.
And then I write it on I have a daily, I keep wanting to pick up my things so people can see it, but they can't.
Yeah.
But and then I write down my food plan every
Hmm.
day. And then on there I write no alcohol, and I'm doing no sugar now too. I did no sugar May, and I'm still riding with that.
Hmm.
Although I did go to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant in Vegas, and I did have some English toffee pudding, and it was delicious.
Sounds good.
Like I had to, like, right. But so I do no sugar, no alcohol there. I do it in this, and then I keep track of it just so I know. And then my phone dings every day.
That's awesome.
Don't
So
forget
you're
to make your
engaging
drink
with
plan.
it. You're engaging with your intentions on,
Yeah.
times every day around your drink plan. Yeah.
Yep. And then in the morning, I get to go and go, oh, I didn't have a drink. And I check it off. And then I have this little color chart that I color it with my fun colored pens. And that's for me, that works. I need visuals. I need a constant reminder. Like, I, I don't think I'll never not have a drink plan now.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. It's
Like,
work.
you know,
So we want to keep doing things that are working for us, right?
and
Yeah.
I haven't had, and I used to do the evaluations, even if I didn't have an overdrink, because I did those for like 2 years.
Yeah.
Those, I killed a lot of trees. But,
Dory's talking about the worksheets that come with the Alive AF and the SODSL Stop Over Drinking program, just so everybody knows.
and they're amazing. Like, they
You get
really
access to all these things too when you decide to join the program, PS.
just do it.
So let's talk about failures though, because I know it was not a success only journey. And I'm going to
No.
be honest with everybody. So tell us about that little sticky middle situation. Like, remember there was a
Um,
time period where you were kind of quiet and I was like, Dory, what's going
yeah.
on?
And it was,
And
and yeah, and I came back and I was like,
yeah.
I, and it's the embarrassment because I
Mm,
felt like, I don't want to even use the term fell off the wagon. I felt like I was just like, thought I had it down. And then I stopped doing the evaluations, and I just kind of
mhm.
was like, I always say this and I hate it. I hate saying it like this, but I definitely go into fuck it mode a lot. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like it's fine. Like, you know what I mean? I did the work. I'm just here right now, and I'll move past it.
Mhm.
So that was definitely hard. And I always had a justification for it. And I like, you know what I mean? But and I always go back to the worksheets because I love that I could still print them out, and I would go
Mhm.
back and do the feelings one again. And like, you know, and I did the radical self-love one. I did that a couple of times too.
Mhm.
And my thoughts, like how to change them. Like, you know what I mean? I can't always be in bucket mode. Like, I have to really dive a little bit deeper to
Mhm.
figure out like why I'm really drinking. Like, was it out of boredom? Was it out of was it anxiety driven? Was it stress? Was it hunger? Like, there was so many other things that came up besides the effort moment. You know what I mean? And it was nice to almost like put a label on that and be like, all right, that's all right. Like, next time, what can we do? Like, then it was like, all right, you did this. Now what can we do next time? You know,
Yeah. So
because there
like
was a lot of next times.
yeah, of course. It's not a success only journey. But the important thing that I love about your story is that you didn't give up and you gave yourself as much time as you needed, right?
I did. And I feel like sometimes, and thanks for saying that, because I do feel like there were times where he was like, when you checked in on me and I was embarrassed. Like, you know what I mean? And it was like, but just because you're just who you are and how amazing you are, you're like, no, like, we're not doing that. Like, stop. Like, we're going to figure this out. And we did, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would not be here. I might start crying. I
Yeah.
would not be here if honestly, like, not here, like, but
Mhm.
I would probably still be drinking all the time and making excuses. Like, I'm going to go out tonight. Or like, I'm going to Zoom with my friends.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's so good. Like even when you get in the fuck it modes, which do happen, right? We go back to our old patterns because that's just what's easier sometimes. Like it's
Yeah.
familiar, it's easy. It takes work to do what Dory is talking about. It takes intention, it takes time. Dory paid a lot of money for it. Like there's investments in time, money, and energy to change your relationship with alcohol. And sometimes that can be tiring and people want to stop and they come in and out and that is very, very normal. But you took the hand for help, right? You said,
Yeah.
okay, let's do this. Like this isn't really what I want to be doing. Like you recognize that, right?
Hmm. For
And
sure.
then,
Yeah.
and then
I
you
was like,
help.
I'm glad you did too.
Yeah. And you just do those inquiries of like, okay, like what is going on with me that is making me do this? And then you learn about yourself a little bit more. And you're like, okay, that makes sense. Let's move on,
Right.
right? And start going at it again.
And I right now I'm in such a good place, and I don't even think about alcohol anymore. Like, it honestly, like, unless I'm making a little drink plan, I'm going out. Like, I knew I was going to Vegas and I had a very strict drink plan, very strict. I knew what I was having, knew what I was doing. And I probably don't even think I'll drink for, I don't even know. Like, it's not even on my radar because
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And I love raising the bar. You know how I am with my boxes. My
Raising the
God.
Bar is a mocktail subscription service that we trialed during dry January.
Oh my
Yeah,
God. I've been getting it
fun.
since.
That's amazing. I love
I
it.
love it. I love it. You just a lot. I do have to say, like, I do have a lot of my girlfriends that are like, they don't love to drink all the time either. And they love coming to my house because I make really good mocktails. And I'm like, let's go. Like, you know what I mean? So it's fun. It's fun. And I love being creative anyway, because I'm a bartender, you know what I mean? So it's fun to do the other side of that.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what I mean? The non-alcoholic side. So it is fun. Like, we went, this is such a funny story. Went to my other work Christmas party for the school last year. And not this past Christmas, the Christmas before, and I wasn't drinking. I was like, I just met these people like 4 months before because I switched schools, and I was like, I don't want to drink around these people that I don't know. So I was like, I'm not drinking. I made this big batch of like this delicious like mocktail stuff to put over soda water.
Mhm.
And it was so funny. One of my girlfriends that I work with, she had my son as a student, and we became really good friends. And she doesn't drink at all. She never had a drop of alcohol in her life, like, just never did. And so I go, I bought like a fun little mocktail for us to have at Christmas. So we look like bougie drinking some fun drinks. And like, and I go, and I got some fun little glasses for us. And she goes, you did? I'm like, yeah. So making them, and everyone's like, oh my God, those look so good. Can I have some? I'm like, no. Like, no. No, this is for us. We're not drinking. These are our drinks. They wanted to put like it over vodka and stuff. I'm like, no,
Oh, no.
no. It had fresh mint in it, blueberries. I'm like, no, this is mine.
That's awesome.
It was funny because if I had like any other drink, I'd be like, here, have it. But I'm like, no.
It's your special mocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to, like, when you mentioned the money thing about, it is expensive, but it's obviously 1,000% worth it, because I asked for that. Not asked, like, it sounds so weird that I just said it like that. I don't mean to say it like that. Like, but I had to talk to my husband about it because it's a
Mhm.
big chunk of change. It made me, I was like, I said to him last year, I was like, I need $2,000 for the Good Feet store because my plantar fasciitis is so bad and it will not go away. He's
Mhm.
like, yeah, 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 yeah. Let's go. Let's go to the store.
Yeah.
Like, that's like an investment I had in myself, that I needed that. I wasn't able to walk or exercise, you know what I mean? And now I do yoga, I'm walking, I'm able to do more stuff. And it's like, the weight's coming off. I'm like, oh, I gotta move my body, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't doing that, and
I
that was actually that was depressing. And I think I had a coaching call on that.
You did.
It was
Yeah.
like depressing me. I was
Yeah.
like,
I know. And everybody gave you all this foot advice, which was so amazing.
yeah. And it was. And I was like, think of what's at the Good Feet store. And I was like, I can't afford it. But I'm
Mhm.
like, you know what? I can afford it. We're fine. I'm like,
Right.
I can afford it.
Yeah, these investments they improve the quality of your life, right? We spend money on so many other things, little
Right.
things, alcohol, right? Look how much we
Right.
spend alcohol.
No, for sure.
People should
It's
definitely do
crazy.
the math on that. But the investment to really get to the root of why you're over drinking so that you can have an outcome like yours is priceless. I mean, I
Yeah.
say that all the time. It's the best money I ever spent.
Yes, for
Hands
sure.
down.
Yeah.
Way more valuable than my college degree.
Yeah.
It really changed my life.
It
And
did for sure.
it's
You're doing leaps and bounds.
yeah,
Leap. You're
it's
amazing.
thank you. But it's like it's the investment that also keeps paying off, right? So like that initial investment you made in 2021, and we're in 2025 now. How did that pay off for you last night?
Oh my God. That's
Right?
like thank you. That's like that in itself is worth it. Just the fact that I would have I know I already said it, but I easily would have drank a bottle of wine last night.
Yeah,
I would have opened because I would have opened it and I would have been like, I'm only having two, but now I'm like, now I'm gonna have three. Oh, I might as well just finish the bottle.
right.
I know you know what I mean? And I haven't drank like that in forever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even like,
It keeps getting better. Like you recognizing you deserve to feel good and to be able to move your body and like to take care of yourself and to go do fun things, right? Like
mhm,
life. And that's what we do also inside the programs, just like get you guys to go do some things, right? We're not just taking alcohol away and everybody's sitting around suffering and crying.
right.
We try to have fun in there,
Yeah,
like
right.
infuse like different creative ideas and like let's explore some new interests and go out there and try some things.
Yeah. Like I love kayaking now. Like I go
Mhm.
to, I go to my girlfriend. There's so many things I do now that I never ever did. I'm not a creative person. It's like I wish I was. I tried making sourdough and I couldn't do I was like, what is wrong with me?
You
And I
also
keep
try like just trying new things
yeah,
though.
no, and I'm
Things that
gonna
you're
try
willing to try,
yeah,
right?
I'm gonna try crocheting next. I'm gonna do
Yeah.
it. I'm doing all the Nana things.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what else has changed besides you drinking less? Like, what do you feel like? How have relationships changed or
I'm definitely my relationships with my kids and stuff now, like even like as much as Tyler still drive me a little crazy, like I'm so much calmer around him. Like I was constantly so fired up. And I'm also, I'm in therapy and I'm getting
Mhm.
therapy for that. Um and even with my daughter, like she's making some silly mistakes right now and silly choices with her life. And but I would get so fired up before and I would just be like I'd be like yelling and screaming, like, what are you doing? Now I'm like, all right, let me know if you need me for anything, if you need my advice, if you need me to listen, if you like, what do you need? Like, just let me know and I'm here for you. And my
Mhm.
husband's the one getting all fired up. I'm like she might be moving to Texas, so he's getting all like fired up about it. I'm like, let her
Mhm.
go. She's 23. I don't like, you know what I mean? She doesn't have a job. Doesn't, she's got, I'm like, it is what it is. She can come back here and land back at the nest if she needs to. I don't know what to tell you, dude. Like, don't get fired up about like I don't get fired up at all. You know what I mean? It's like I'm definitely like I think a lot calmer and I
Mhm.
love that. Like I that's huge for me.
So
And
what do you think about yourself as a mom now versus then?
I, it's funny, I'm still working on that in therapy and it
Mhm.
comes up all the time and there's still a part of me that thinks I'm a failure and so I'm still working on that, but I know deep down in my heart I did all the right things and I think I was a really really good mom like,
Mhm.
you know, but I
I
think just
feel like sometimes that comes with motherhood too. Like we're just programmed, like if our kids are failing or flubbering around or something's going on, it's just like, oh, what did I do? Right.
right,
Like,
right.
and I'm glad you're working on it because it doesn't
Yeah.
feel right to think that way about yourself. So,
Yeah. I mean, and everything's a work in progress. And that's probably my biggest obstacle right now,
mhm.
is getting over that one. And I'll get there eventually, but I'm doing it without alcohol. You know what
Yes.
I mean? So
Yeah. So the alcohol just makes all that worse, right? It amplifies
yes.
all that negative thinking we have about ourselves.
Yeah. Like I don't get up. I used to get up in the morning and berate myself so bad about everything. And now I get up in the morning. And I love Mel Robbins too. And I'm like, and I love like I literally get up in the morning and I'm like, you look good today. I'm like, I like your outfit. I'm like, even this one, I'm like, those earrings are badass. Look at
They
you.
are
Like,
badass.
I know, aren't they fun? But I'm like, I talk kind to myself now too. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And like, even if like I only have time to go for a 30-minute walk, I'm like, you got up, you went out, it doesn't matter. You moved your body for 30 minutes. You move
Mhm.
anything more, awesome. But before I would be like, you should have walked for an hour. Why didn't you? And that's fine.
Yeah.
I think my boundaries are better too. I think that was huge too. That's another thing we didn't really talk about, but the boundaries. You talk a lot about that in your program, and that's huge for a lot, especially moms and women in general. We
Mhm.
don't have healthy boundaries with people, and
Yeah.
I think that definitely is really huge now. Like my husband and I are starting to travel more, and
Mhm.
the kids, I'm like, you guys need to help out. You need to do stuff around the house. You need to be there for us because
Mhm.
we're going. See you
Yeah.
later.
So tell me about some of the boundaries that you've implemented.
For me, definitely with my bedtime. My
Mm.
husband was a kind of a
Oh, boundaries.
bedtime bully. He would make me
Uh-huh.
stay up to like 10:30, and I'm like, no. I'm going to bed at 9.
Mhm.
That's what time I want to go to bed.
Mhm.
Things like that. Or, you know, like staying out later than I wanted to with friends. Like, I'm like, no, I'll drive. I go, if you guys want to stay out later, you can take an Uber home.
Mhm.
I'll come out to dinner, have a mocktail, whatever, and then I'm going home. I don't need to be out anymore. I don't that doesn't do anything for me anymore.
Yeah.
And even like healthy boundaries with myself, like I'm like embarrassed to admit this, but I barely washed my face before I went to bed before. I
Yes, me
have this
too. That was huge for me. I'd
I
go to bed with full head face of makeup on.
I could you couldn't give me $1,000,000 to do that now.
Right?
Oh my
It's
God. I literally am like, I'm like, I got it all. I've got it all laid out. And I'm like, don't touch my stuff. Don't touch it. It's expensive. Leave it alone. Like, yeah,
Yeah, so you're taking better care of yourself. You're
yeah,
doing the boundaries are like, okay, so you have to work on that, right? So it's like you're gonna have to disappoint your husband, maybe, or
yeah,
that's what you tell yourself in your head, like I can't, I have to stay up late because this is just I don't want to make him upset or whatever it was, right?
right.
We just go along with it, but it's really hurting ourselves. And
And
so,
he was, yeah, like, cause even with the not, I told him flat out, I go, I'm taking a 6-month break from drinking.
Mhm.
He's like, you are? And I'm like, because I was at a good spot with it. Like, you know what I mean? And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm like, yeah, I go, I just feel like I just want to and I explained it to him.
Mhm.
And at least once a month, he'd be like, so you're not going to drink at Christmas? I'm like,
Mhm.
no. I go, because my 6 months isn't over till, February. He's like,
Yeah.
so then like, month. So you're not, no, you're not going to drink at Thanksgiving or Christmas? Like, nope. I go, Jerry, stop. Like, I'm not. Like, it's fine. Like, it's going to be okay. And it was
Yeah.
okay. It was
Yes,
okay.
of course. Yeah.
We all survived without me drinking.
Yes, right? Like, it's just my husband was the same way. He's like, "Wait, you're gonna have your 40th birthday party at a wine bar, but you're not gonna drink." And I'm like, "Yes." He's like, "Hmm. Oh, what's that gonna be?" They don't know, right? Like, they've never
Yeah.
experienced it before.
Yeah.
So they're just like it's almost just like alien language or something.
Yeah. It was funny. I was just like, all right, buddy, relax. We're all going to be fine.
Yes. Yeah, it's awesome. So
And I don't even think like half my family even noticed that I wasn't drinking. I swear to God, like it was kind of funny because I always made my little mocktails or even my water I made bougie. I'm like, I'm putting mint in this and lime and
Mhm.
like they could have thought I was drinking straight vodka. I don't know.
Yeah. Just didn't make a big deal out of it, it sounds like.
Nope. I really don't. And it's just I'm rolling with it and I love it. And I love that my whole mindset has changed and it's not at the forefront of my mind all the time. That was probably driving me insane. Like just constantly thinking about drinking, the rules, how much, what if I drink, you know what I mean? And I'm so, so glad. And I do think that the 6 months is like if people are on the, like, kind of having that chatter all the time, maybe do take a longer than a month break.
Mhm.
Maybe try
Mhm.
2, maybe try 3, you know what I mean? And
I think, yeah, you just kind of have to keep trying things until you get to a place that you're happy with, right? Like that's
mhm,
the ultimate goal is like figure out the best relationship with alcohol for you.
yeah,
Right? And so that takes some experimenting and challenging yourself a little bit more, you know?
for sure. And that's actually a really good way to put it, because that's what I feel like that's what I did do.
Mhm.
I just played around with it, saw what worked for me, and now I'm just in a really happy, fun place,
Yeah.
you know? So I'm
Yeah.
living my best life.
Yay! Congratulations, Dory. Is there anything else? I am enrolling for the 6-month Stop Over Drinking program. So what it is right now is people that sign up for the pivot, they have and anybody that listens to the podcast, you can join the 6-month program now. It officially starts on September 1st, but I'm giving them access to a live AF for 3 months.
Oh, fun.
Get their feet wet and like kind of get the basics down, and then they start the deep dive on September 1st after the summer is over.
That's
So
awesome.
I think that sounds like a good idea.
I think that's amazing because I I love both programs, but I love the stop over drinking and start living just because it's that deeper and you get
Yeah.
more coaching and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
the support in both is great. But I love that because it's you just learn so much, and you learn so much from the other women. Like I had mentioned that earlier. Like we're all in this fishbowl together. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's hard, and it's nice to be supported, especially for like, a lot of us who can't talk to people about it for
Yes.
shame and stigma and for whatever reason. It's a nice, beautiful group of women that they get it, and you're there for their successes and their failures and their, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I loved both, so I'm
Yeah.
biased.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we were talking about that. I did that Palm Springs retreat, and we were talking about that very thing. We are more likely to open up and share vulnerable things in a contained space like this, right? And be vulnerable and share deeper stuff than we are with our family and friends.
Yes.
Because we don't want, there's so many reasons why, but like it's hard. We don't know how that's going to be perceived. We don't want people to judge us. We don't want people to worry about us, right? And so we don't want to go there with them. And they're not qualified to do things with that information, right?
Right.
And so here with Coach Steph and I, we have the skills and the programs and materials and the support to support that deeper dive stuff. And it helps you become more vulnerable and share things in a safe place. So it really is an interesting dynamic.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. And I think my only advice that I would give anybody in both your programs, whichever it is, just you have to do the work. And
Yeah.
I know everyone says that, and it's that simple though. It's
Yeah.
like, do the work, don't half-ass it, and don't, and I definitely did, you know what I mean? But, that's definitely my takeaway until like I really was fully in,
Mm-hmm.
but
You got to get going, you got to fake it until you make it. Just go through the motions,
yeah.
right? And just like get the practice of doing things down. And I think you kind of mentioned that too when you first joined. It was just a lot. Like you're just
Yeah.
scratching the surface at the beginning, but then as you learned more, you were able to go a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I think once you get like a win or two under your belt, when you realize, even if it's just that's not drinking on a Friday night,
Yeah.
you know, it's those little wins like that, like you talk about a lot, is those are huge. Those are
Mhm.
really big,
Yeah.
and then get yourself a toolbox, people. Like my toolbox is like amazing. Like it's like I don't know what I would do without it, because otherwise I'd just be sitting there ruminating and like,
Yes.
like, I'm gonna drink. Now I'm like, I'm gonna go for a walk and do a puzzle. I'm gonna, have a
Yeah.
cup of tea. I have so much tea in my house. I swear to God. Name a
There's
flavor.
a whole cabinet for tea, a whole cabinet.
Yeah. And I have every kind of honey when you want orange honey, you want
Oh,
honey with chai. I got it all.
that's awesome.
It's hysterical. Anytime I love like now when I go away, I love finding tea shops or
Mhm.
honey shops. You know what I mean? Like that's instead of finding like bars. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
let me go find like the local honey place and the local tea shop. And like that's my new favorite thing to do too.
That's
And like
awesome.
I said, when we went to Vegas, my girlfriend and I were like on the hunt for like a good matcha. It's
Yeah.
like- it's my
So
goal right now, matcha.
yeah, yeah. just you develop new, healthier interests, right? Like interests in other things that are good for you and not causing you grief and
Right.
anxiety and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
All right. Are there any final words of wisdom you'd like to share with them?
honestly, just stick with it. Like, and if Angela calls you out, you just ride it. Just go with it and let her coach you. Her and Steph, oh God, they're so amazing. Like, listen to what they say. Now I am gonna cry. Like, you guys have, like, honestly, like, the best advice. Like,
Mm.
it's just you just gotta do the work, and take the advice. Be open. Be open. I think
Yeah.
that's probably my best advice, is just to be open, because this is hard. And I think a lot of us tend to be a little closed-minded about things too. You know what I mean? So
No, we get stuck in our ruts, right? And we keep banging our head against the wall doing these things that aren't working. And so it's time to open up your mind and think about taking a different approach. If you haven't gotten help, get help.
yeah.
Into trying some new things and a different approach and coming at it from different angles. So,
Yeah. Yeah. And just do it. Like, just try. If you want, if you are on the fence, just try. Like,
mhm,
what's the worst, right?
yeah. Thank you so much. You're very generous with your
Mm,
time and your stories.
oh
And
my
thank you
God,
for coming
thank you.
on.
This was like an honor. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for
Tell
coming.
Coach Steph I said hi.
Of course, she will listen to this and she's very excited about it. All right. Oh my gosh, wasn't that so, so good? I just love her laugh and everything that she shared with you all and, the ups and downs and everything in between. So thanks again, Dorrie. And if you want to be like Dorrie, you should join the programs that Dorrie did to change her life and change her relationship with alcohol. So go to angelamascenik.com/join, SODSL. If you join right now, you get free access for the summer to Alive AF, which is my monthly membership program where you can get your feet wet, you can get the basics going, you can have some progress around your drinking, you have all of the worksheets and courses and workshops. We have live coaching calls and workshops every month. And then you'll be primed and ready to take the deeper dive into the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living coaching program that starts September 1st, which is the program that Dorrie started with. So don't miss this amazing opportunity to get to continue on to get support this summer and then work with me on a more intimate basis come September 1st. And that program will go through the end of February 2026. So this is an opportunity for you to get 9 months of support and really transform yourself and your relationship with alcohol. So imagine feeling like Dorrie, and that is possible for you too. All right, friends, it's angelamascenik.com/join, SODSL, and I can't wait to see who joins me there. Talk to you soon.